Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to look at a very popular passage, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. So there's two beasts here. The beast that comes out of the sea and the beast that comes out of the earth. The beast that comes out of the sea is described in detail in Revelation 13, 1-10. It has 7 heads and 10 horns, and a crown was given to it. Verse 18 says, Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for the number of the beast is 666. Now many have tried to tie this to Rome, Rome being the 666. If you take the letters of the Latin alphabet and add them up, you get 666. That's where the theory comes from. However, I want to point something out. Revelation 13:18 says, Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for the number of the beast is 666. In the original language, the word count, or reckon, actually means to calculate. It could also mean, let him that has understanding calculate the name of the beast, for the name of the beast is 666. Now why would John say that? Because the Bible says in Psalm 49:4 that the fool says in his heart there is no God. He says there is no God in any of his works. So if you were to take the name of Antichrist, which means against Christ, and calculate that, it adds up to 666. Now there's a lot more than that, but I'm just giving you the basics because that's what we're dealing with here. And Antichrist is a title, not a name. Now, let's go back to verse 11 and read it again. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Now this beast came out of the earth. The other beast came out of the sea. The earth represents nations, people, wood, gold, silver, etc. The sea represents people, large groups of people. Daniel 7:2 says, And 4 great beasts came up out of the sea, diverse one from another. So the 4 beasts represent large groups of people. This beast out of the earth represents a smaller group. So when we look at this, think about small groups. Now let's look at the description of this beast. Verse 11 says, And he had 2 horns like a lamb. Okay, so this beast is going to represent 2 things. It's going to be like a lamb, representing 2 things, but it speaks like a dragon. Verse 11 says, And he spake as a dragon. Dragons typically represent Satan himself. In fact, Jesus says in Matthew 7:15, Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. So this beast will come up out of the earth, it will be a small group, and it will represent 2 things. But it will speak like a dragon, meaning it will deceive people. And that's exactly what a false prophet does. He comes like a lamb, but he speaks like a dragon. Now the next thing we see is its actions. Verse 12 says, And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Now, what does this mean? Well, this beast causes the earth to worship the beast that came out of the sea. What is that? Well, let's look at the book of Daniel. Remember, the book of Revelation is very similar to the book of Daniel. We have these 4 beasts that come out of the sea that represent kingdoms, and then we have empires that are represented by these beasts. And the little horn that comes out of one of these beasts ends up being destroyed. And the book of Daniel explains what that is. Daniel 7:8 says, I considered the 4 horns that were on the one side of the earth, and 4 great beasts that were on the other side of the earth. Now, if you read Daniel 7, you can see that one of these beasts has a little horn that comes up. And as this little horn grows, it ends up wounding one of the beasts, and that beast gets healed. So what we have here is a horn that has wounded a beast, and then that beast that was wounded now gets healed. So what happened was one of the beasts was hurt, and then there's a small horn that comes up out of that beast that was hurt that tries to get the whole world to worship the original beast that was hurt. So if you look at this, you have the beast that was wounded, and then you have the small horn that makes the people worship the beast that was wounded. This is why we call the book of Daniel the lesser version of the book of Revelation. So Daniel 7:8 says, I saw till the beasts were taken away, but the horn that looked like a little horn between them had eyes like a human being, and it had a mouth that spoke great boasts. So this little horn that looks like a little beast has human-like features. It looks like a human being, and it starts boasting. And Daniel 7:20 says, And the horn that you saw between the four horns, that is one of four, shall wear out the saint, the many saints, and by oppression and deceit he shall make them fall. So this horn that's different from the others is going to wear out the saints. It's going to wear out many saints. It's going to humble them by oppression and deceit. And the saints are God's people. So you can see here the same thing is happening. You have this little horn that rises up and tells people to worship the beast that was wounded, that was destroyed, but now it's getting healed. And the only way that it's going to do this is by deceiving the people. So this beast, this small horn, it's going to use deception. How is it going to deceive the people? Verse 13, And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So this beast is going to do great wonders, and one of those wonders is going to be making fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So he's going to deceive people by using deception. And we know this is deception because this isn't of God. The Bible says in James 4:8 that we are to resist the devil, and he will flee. We are not to resist a miracle, but we are to resist the devil, because the devil is behind every single miracle. So anytime you see something that's supernatural, ask yourself, is this of God or is this of the devil? The last thing this beast does is it tells people to make an image of the beast that was destroyed. And that's what we see in verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had done in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. So they're going to make an image of the beast that was killed, that was destroyed, but yet it lived. And this is going to happen during the time of the second coming of Christ. You know, Revelation is a wonderful book. It's a book that's easy to understand if you just go through it day by day and look at it. Don't try to figure everything out. Just take it day by day and look at it. Revelation is a literal book, but it's also a symbolic book. There's both literal events that are going to happen, and there's symbolism. So when you start looking at this and trying to figure out what it means, keep that in mind. Revelation is a literal book, but it's also a symbolic book. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button below. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And remember, don't just listen to one preacher. Listen to multiple preachers, multiple teachers. Remember, hear the word justified by faith alone, but walk out by works. Keep the main thing, the main thing. God bless you until next time.